My name is Sam. I'm 29, and last summer, I attended my best friend's wedding, where I stumbled upon a truth that shattered the lives of two people I once adored. But before I tell you how I turned their beautiful day into a reckoning, let me ask, have you ever stood at a crossroads, knowing that one single choice could change your life forever? Let me know in the comments. It was an idyllic afternoon at the Gardenia Oaks, a sprawling estate surrounded by magnificent blooms and romantic fountains. Joy filled the air as friends and family buzzed around, but underneath the laughter, I was a tightly coiled spring, ready to snap. It was Sara's big day, and as her maid of honor, I was expected to sweep her off her feet, make everything perfect. But just hours before the ceremony, I had stumbled upon something that felt heavy in my gut. Earlier that week, while lining up centerpieces in her suite, I caught a glimpse of her phone buzzing incessantly on the table. Out of sheer instinct, I picked it up. My heart dropped as I saw a string of texts from her fiancé, Tom, that weren't meant for my eyes. The flirty banter quickly escalated, messages full of secret rendezvous and longing declarations that made my skin crawl. The final message scorched my eyes. "Can't wait to celebrate tonight, just the two of us." I set the phone down, my head spinning. Was my best friend about to marry a man who was cheating on her? The world around me dimmed, and I could barely focus on the task in front of me. I didn't want to sabotage her happiness, but how could I let her walk down the aisle without knowing who he truly was? All night, I was a mask of forced cheerfulness, making sure that Sara was the radiant bride she deserved to be. The ceremony was beautiful. She glided down the aisle in a stunning white gown that took my breath away. There were tears, laughter, and an overwhelming sense of love that enveloped the guests like a warm blanket. But all I could think about was the secret I held, poisonous and relentless, buried beneath layers of happiness. Then came the moment of truth. As they exchanged vows, I felt a burning in my chest, an echo of their love cutting sharply against the lies. I thought about Sara's trust in me, her belief in what we had built together over the years. Could I betray her by staying silent? As the officiant pronounced them husband and wife, the applause erupted. It was in that moment, standing among a crowd of smiling faces, that I made my decision. I wouldn't just be a passive observer in this tragedy. I would fight for her. After the ceremony, as the reception kicked off, I pulled Tom aside, my heart pumping angrily in my chest. "We need to talk," I said, staring hard into his eyes that were glistening with mischief, moments away from flaunting his perfect facade. "What's up?" he asked dismissively, glancing at the bustling crowd. "About the texts." I locked my gaze on his, searching for any trace of guilt. Just like that, the smirk evaporated from his face. It was frighteningly easy to see the mask slipping. "My phone was acting up," he stuttered, suddenly lacking the bravado he usually exuded. "You know how it is." "No," I interjected, determination rising within me. "You're about to marry my best friend, and I will not let you treat her like a fool." Realizing that my words would cost me dearly in terms of our friendship, I drew a deep breath, but I couldn't back down. "I know what you're doing, Tom. You need to come clean before it's too late." His gaze hardened momentarily, as if mentally calculating the consequences. "Look, Sam, this is not the time or the place. Trust me, just drop it." But I wasn't just going to drop it. I wouldn't allow Sara's joy to be tainted by deception. I found her moments later, her eyes sparkling, her heart so open that it broke mine just looking at her. I pulled her aside, taking her away from the celebratory chaos. "Sam, what's going on? You look pale," she said, concern peeling back the layers of alarms going off in my mind. I found something," I stammered, feeling the weight of my words crush me. "About Tom." She stiffened, her smile fading instantly. "What do you mean?" "It's not what you think. Please, just let me explain." "First, I need you to promise me you won't jump to conclusions. Just listen." The tension surged between us, glancing over at Tom, who was now scanning the room as if something were unraveling. "Okay, I promise, just tell me." I took a deep breath, bracing for the storm. "I saw his texts last week, Sara. I wish I could say I was mistaken, but he's not been faithful. He has a woman he was planning to see tonight." Silence fell like a dark shroud. Sara's eyes flickered with disbelief and anger, the sort of anger that brews slowly only to explode with immense power. No, you're lying. He loves me," she insisted, shaking her head. "You have to be wrong." "Sara, please, this isn't just about you and him. It's about you and your happiness. I promise you, I wouldn't lie about this. You deserve better." The poor light of hope flickered in her eyes, trepidation dancing across her expression as the reality gripped her heart. She blinked furiously, fighting back tears. How could he do this to me? The hurt in her voice was bone-chilling, and I wanted desperately to hold her, but this was not the time for comfort. She needed to confront him. "What do I do now?" she whispered, defeated, anguish spilling from every pore. I took her hands, pulling her close, my heart breaking for my friend. "You confront him. You deserve the truth. And if he can't give you that, then you walk away." Her face was a portrait of conflicting emotions, but the fire in her eyes began to ignite once again. "You're right, I can't just stand here." As we rejoined the reception, the atmosphere was buoyant, laughter echoing like chimes against the dimming sunset. Sara made her way toward Tom, her spine straightening with each step. "Tom," she called, her voice cutting through the laughter like a knife. Screams of surprise filled the air as they turned toward her. She faced him, poised and resolute. "We need to talk." The world stilled, the guests hovering in confusion. When the reality of what she knew dawned on him, Tom's expression twisted from confusion into surviving anger. "What are you talking about? Don't play games, Tom. I know about your texts. I won't marry a liar." Gasps reverberated through the crowd, the hushed whispers growing louder until disbelief mingled with forceful conviction. She stood steady, anchored by the truth. "You were planning to break my heart tonight, weren't you?" she accused. He laughed, but it came out as a hollow, desperate chuckle. "You can't be serious. This isn't how a wedding works, Sara." For the first matchless moment, the air crackled with the tension of two fierce souls locked in an unmistakable battle. She matched his challenge with fierce resolve. "No, this isn't how a marriage should work." Just as I felt the urge to intervene on her behalf, she thrust the phone I had borrowed earlier into his chest. "Start talking." Everyone was now focused on Tom, the lavish reception forgotten in the light of this revelation. I stood back, watching Relayasin alongside the turmoil of emotions we had been through in this single moment, a truly devastating marriage announcement. The tension broke as he stepped back, his bravado collapsing. With a quick glance at everyone, he attempted to project confidence. "You have no proof," he yelled, forcing a grin that fooled no one. But as he scanned faces, desperation flooded his voice. "They're just texts. No big deal." Sara took that moment to speak, her voice steady and confident, free from the weight of gentle subservience. "They meant nothing to you," she whispered, forcing him to absorb the contrast between her shattered trust and undeniable awareness of his betrayal. And with that, the dam broke. The laughter and cheer transformed into a roiling sea of anger, disbelief, and shock. The wedding that was once supposed to bond them for a lifetime transformed into beautiful chaos, the perfect ending to a fairy tale gone terribly wrong. As Tom sputtered incoherently, the crowd murmured loudly about the hidden reality beneath the porcelain surface of Sara's love story. It was exhilarating and frightening all at once. I wrapped my arms around Sara, a firm embrace that spoke volumes more than words ever could. The air buzzed with a chaotic swirl as reporters arrived for a live broadcast of the exposé that unfolded in the most unlikely of places. Through the cacophony, I saw her bounce from disbelief to strength, rising high above the ruins of a wedding. I didn't know what tomorrow would bring for either of us, but right then, as she looked at me, I could see the first flickers of healing beginning to crack through the pain. Weeks later, we would sit in that same garden, this time with no walls around us. Sara was no longer just the heartbroken bride. She was reclaiming her life, uprooting the weeds of deceit and planting new seeds of growth, distinct colors flowering through each root she nurtured. As the light filtered through the leaves, Sara turned to me, her eyes shimmering with gratitude. "You saved me. I couldn't have done this without you." I attempted to brush aside the feeling rising within me, the warmth of friendship mingled with the wise understanding of love. "No, you saved yourself. You deserve so much more than the lies." With a soft smile, she uttered the words that would solidify her newfound strength. "I'm ready to start over, Sam. I'm finally free." And oh, how freeing it felt. The wedding day had transformed into a new chapter for both of us, one filled with challenges, but more importantly, cradled in friendship and the fierce resilience of the human spirit. Now I sit on my balcony overlooking the sunset, cradling a freshly brewed cup of tea. Scars of what we learned together will always be a part of us, but they will not define us. Instead, every moment is a step toward the brighter days ahead. Thank you for listening to my story. It took the unraveling of a beautiful deception to uncover what truly mattered: friendship and truth. Have you ever had to confront the unthinkable for someone you love? I would love to hear your stories in the comments below. If my story resonated with you, please give this video a like and subscribe for more. Let's keep sharing our truths. See you in the next one.